And we are back. 50 state haunt. We are in
Indiana. You know, I found a ton of stuff in Indiana.
So much stuff.
It was kind of hard to pick between. I think I had like 10 different things that I wanted to pick, and I went up going with 4. I've got one it's just more so just a little tidbit, pretty cool little tidbit I found, lore based really, and then I've got 3 that are haunted areas, and I actually have some snippets and some EVP activity that I'm going to share with us as well.
Sweet. I only have one actual story.
Really?
Yeah. The rest of them are just little men. There's so much stuff.
It is. Have you heard of the grave in the middle of the road?
I have not heard of that one. You want to kick us off? No, let's kick off the wheel spin first.
Yeah, we got to do the wheel spin. So let's hop into the wheel spin and let's spin this thing.
Spin that wheel.
We landed on South Dakota.
South Dakota. Isn't that Fargo? Or is Fargo North Dakota? That's South Dakota, isn't it?
I think Fargo is South Dakota.
I think it is. God, I gotta look it up now.
Look at that. We've got a full left side page. Nice. All right. So to jump into this wonderful episode tonight, located in Amity, Indiana, the grave in the middle of the road has been around for over 100 years.
Fargo's North Dakota.
Oh, is it?
Yep. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good. It's been a popular hangout for road workers, curious kids, and college students in search of a supernatural specter. One of the most intriguing aspects of the grave in the middle of the road is the fact that it contains the remains of 7 people. Nobody knows how these people got there. Nobody even knew that there were graves there. They were buried in plain caskets. It included 7 bodies, 2 women, a man, and 4 children.
Oh,
The only reason they found these is whenever they were going in and excavating to widen the road, they wound up finding it. And to this day, there is a island in the middle of the road that is where these 7 people are buried, and that's why it's called the grave.
No kidding, really?
Yeah. Nancy Carolyn Barnett. It's a historical grave of pioneer women, men, and children.
Interesting. Well,
wait a second. Here's a little bit of information.
All right, go with it.
Born May 14th, 1793, died December 1st, 1831, Nancy Carolyn Barnett, married to William Barnett, February 29th, 1808, born September 27th, 1786, drowned in Ohio River, September 24th, 1854. William was the great-great-great-grandson of Pocahontas and John Rolfe. Daniel C. Doughty, 1846 to 1934, protected his grandmother's grave by staying here with his gun while the county relocated this cemetery in order to build the road. A concrete slab was placed over the grave to protect the marker August 8th, 1912.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool. What's crazy is all the research I did on this, I never saw that until I just looked up this picture. It's a little plaque. It's a plaque on it. That's pretty
That's a
cool.
happy little accident.
It's a happy little accident. Okay, Bob Ross. All right. Well, that's my first little tidbit. So tell me what you got.
All right. Avon Haunted Bridge. There's a lore of this bridge that a mother had a sick baby and she was taking the child to a doctor. And while they were walking across some railroad tracks, she slipped and fell. They fell off of the bridge to their deaths.
Oh,
That's
wow.
one lore. Another lore is of a drunken railroad worker who slipped during the construction of the bridge and fell down into the wet cement and was buried there.
Oh.
So when a train crosses the tracks, you can hear him moaning. That's one of the lores. Now we're going to step back to the first one of the mother and the child.
So, fun fact for you, not to cut you off, fun fact for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know how everybody says, I'm going to kill you and bury you in concrete, they'll never find you?
Mm-hmm.
Mythbusters proved that if a dead corpse is buried in concrete, 3 foot of concrete, 4 foot of concrete, your body secretions after you decompose and the smells will still come to the surface.
Wow, really?
Yep. Continue.
Well, you said that. And have you ever heard of the Body Farm?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay. So anybody that don't know, I might have mentioned this before. I'm not real sure, but if that's the case, then I'm going to mention it again. And I'm sure it won't be the last time either, because the Body Farm is just so interesting to me. There's a place, and I'm wanting to say it's in Georgia. It's called the Body Farm, and there are people that when they die, they'll donate their body to this place for the sole purpose of being decomposition research to help with.
It's not Georgia, not to cut you off.
No, you're good. Where's it at?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
And there's one in Tennessee. There's actually 7 locations.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, Tennessee, Knoxville, University of Tennessee in Knoxville, Tennessee, Western Carolina University in Chloe, North Carolina, Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas Houston State University in Huntsville, another one in Texas. Yeah, so there's all kinds of them.
So they're not one up north? I mean, Tennessee gets cold. But it's not like the ground freezes there the way it does up north.
Western Carolina, Texas, Houston.
So the whole point of this Body Farm is people can donate their bodies to science. And
Correct.
This Body Farm, they have
South Illinois.
Different elements. So some bodies will be submerged in water. Some might be in a vehicle, a totally enclosed vehicle, windows up, doors locked, shut. And the whole purpose of it is they're looked at daily to see what is the time of decomposition and anything like that. And it helps them. This helps them learn how to read the timelines when they find a body.
Yep. Illinois, South Illinois, and Carolina.
South Illinois. So there is one for frozen ground.
There's one frozen ground.
Okay. We kind of got off subject, but with that being said, he was talking about the construction worker that fell into wet cement. Any tale that has this, I just have issues with it. Because how many times is somebody going to be anywhere and there it's like, oh, hey, John Doe just fell off and fell into that wet cement. We're just gonna try all that back out smooth and just let it be.
He was a drunk. Leave the bastard alone.
He's a drunk. Don't nobody care. I just have problems with those kind of lures.
Here lies Big John.
Yeah, really. The other lure was the mother and baby that fell off the tracks and they got killed. So the lure of them, this bridge it's a railroad bridge, and there's a road that goes under it, and the road runs beside the river that goes under it as well. When you drive under the bridge, if you're not laying on your horn as you go up under the bridge to drown out the sounds, then you hear the mother wailing and screaming and crying about her baby. That's the lure. People all the time as they drive under the Avon Bridge, they lay on the horn as they drive up under it, and people still do it till this day.
Nice.
What you got next?
I have a place called Whispers Estate. Now we're going to try to do this without getting copyright struck. Paranormal Encounters, which is an actual it's a big YouTube channel actually. I think they might even have a TV show or something.
Okay.
Anyway, I've got a couple minutes of some of their clips. It kind of goes back and forth. You can hear some of the activity they get on the EVP. You can see some of the things that happen, and it's pretty freaking wicked. But I'll tell you a little brief story on that. The Whisper Estate is considered one of the most haunted places in the state. It's 3,700 square foot Victorian designed house. It is also known to have been the home to several ghosts. Property has been featured on a number of television shows, including Ghost Stories 2, Sci-Fi, and the Travel Channel. One of the most notable features of this property is the Whispering Walls. Many visitors have reported hearing things whisper in their ears, even seeing a little girl running through the house. Many EVP have revealed that there are many more entities in this house than what meets the eye. And with that being said, Brent, we'll scoop on over to the clip I've got here. If you've got it pulled up, we'll play it.
Yep, let's go.
So what we're going to do is we're going to play. So we're going to play a little bit here. We're going to stop, talk about it, and then go again. So what they've got going on right now, they've got a EVP next to it, spirit box right next to it, with a digital recorder, as well as a radio, but the radio's turned on really low. That noise you hear, that's a spirit box. And it's supposed to pick up real-time audio. If an entity's there and it talks, that's supposed to pick that up. As you know, and I know, whenever you do have some entities, they like to interfere with electronics. So you'll hear this radio just like go crazy at sometimes, and then it'll get real soft. You won't hear it at all. And then it'll get real loud again. And then you'll see.
We hear that this closet door over here likes to open. Can you open that closet door?
So you hear how that radio is starting to interact whenever he asks it questions, right?
Right.
Now, in this particular one, the closet does not open, but what happens out in the hallway is pretty interesting.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it is, but it's pretty interesting. Listen to the radio here.
What was that?
So you heard it. That was on the spirit box. That was something talking to that guy on that spirit box.
Right.
Pretty freaking cool. Pretty cool.
Gary, can you open that door for me?
Oh my gosh.
They said you could do that. I just want to see it real quick. Is that where you like to hide and play?
All right, we're going to fast forward just a little bit until we get to the spot that I want you to see.
Come on, is anybody in this room? Let me open this closet door. You hear that the door goes like this. You hear the noise, and then it opens like this. Can you roll it close?
Do you hear it say stop?
I was about to ask, did it say stop? I thought it did.
Yes, it said stop. That's freaking wild. Oh, hold on. I got a little more. Boom.
Hey, you're lighting up.
That was right after you opened the door.
Yeah, I'm getting chills on my arm, yeah.
Are you Gary?
And this goes on for, 5-10 minutes in this one particular room. They wound up going to another room and didn't get any activity in that room. They went to a bathroom where she laid in the toilet where a man, Gary or somebody, fell. He wound up breaking his neck when he fell, and he died in the bathtub and stayed there for a couple days.
Oh, wow.
But that's the Whisper's estate. I thought that was pretty cool. The EVP on that's pretty cool.
I've always liked to hear anything on the spirit box. I don't know why
Yes.
the spirit box intrigues me more than just
Because it's real time.
EVPs. Yeah.
It's real time. I mean, it's like you ask a question, you get an answer. You're like, okay, I know I'm stirring something up right now. So do you have any more lore? Or do you want me to hit another one, or what you want to do?
Next one. Like I said, I'm going to have several of them that's just like literally 20 seconds to tell you.
Well, give me a couple.
Tunnelton Tunnel.
Oh, I read that one.
You did? So this apparently there's an apparition of a man that is decapitated during the tunnel's construction. A lot of people say they can see the apparition roaming around like he's still searching for his head. And another rumor states that there is a grave site on top of the tunnel, and during the construction some of the bodies fell through and into the tunnel.
Oh, wow. Now, I did find there is a couple snippets on YouTube of that tunnel.
Oh, yeah?
You can hear very, very faint things like screams, but in my opinion, it's not like a professional thing. It's just like a bunch of kids that go out there and they're recording and they hear crap. And so
And you
who
can just
really
hear
knows
some
how,
stuff.
right? Who knows how accurate it is?
Another one is Indiana Central State Hospital. It's just the run of the mill, just like all the other ones. It was an insane asylum at one point in time, and patients that were there suffered abuse. And there's just, they say you can see shadows, apparitions, stuff, doors open. You can hear footsteps. The same MO that you get on every insane asylum.
Yeah.
Go ahead with another one of yours.
All right. I'm going to hit the Hannah House. There's no video for this, but there is audio. So whenever I read this, I'm going to throw this in. It's a couple minutes.
Okay.
It's a 24-room mansion. It's been the site of many paranormal events and unexplained occurrences. It makes it one of the most haunted places in Indiana. If you're going to go see a place, this place and the next one are probably the two places you're really going to want to go. The story of Hannah's The story goes like the Hannah family, that was their last name. The Hannah family had slaves, and when they would bury them under the house.
Okay.
The story goes that Alexander Hannah built the house as a gift to his wife, Elizabeth. They had a difficult pregnancy. He was unable to produce an offspring. After Alexander's death in 1895, the property was sold to German immigrant Roman Oehler. The house was listed as a historical landmark by U.S. Department of Interior in 1978. Now, in this house, the basement seems to be the most active paranormal area, mainly because of, burying slaves under your house is the thing to do, apparently. Ghostly apparition of a slave has been spotted on several occasions. The cellar was also the site of a fire that trapped many slaves. The bodies were then buried in simple coffins under the dirt floor. Now, with that being said, when you hear some of this EVP, some of them sound like old school slaves would talk with, how they had no education.
Okay.
And then there's some that sound like some very well-educated English people.
Okay.
Now, when she's doing this EVP session, she's in a room with only 3 people. You'll hear her ask some questions to the other people, but you can never hear the other people talking. So you'll hear her ask a question, and then you'll hear the ghost or whatever, the spirit, reply back. So we'll swap on over to that now, and let's play it.
Okay.
If you have anything else to say to us tonight, we ask that you do so as we go about the house. We'd like to thank you, and we appreciate your time and your effort. You're welcome. You're welcome.
So that's the ghost replying back saying, "You're welcome."
You're welcome.
So you can hear her in the background just talking, and something says, "I want help."
Okay.
Can you?
That was another one.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah. So whenever she was dictating it, she pretty much said it said "that son of a bitch" or "that's out of my reach." I would probably lean more towards "that's out of my reach."
Show me where the piano is, please.
She asked where the piano was. Something responded, "You found it," right? In a very low voice.
Can you look behind you for the piano? Percy's going that way. Percy's going that way. Percy's going that way.
As she's talking, somebody else says Percy's going away. In this instance, in this one in particular, she went back and she said that nobody else was talking besides her.
See, I heard Percy's going that way. That's what I heard.
See, you heard that, and she heard Percy's going away. Who's Percy? Was Percy a slave? Was it a slave master at that time?
Percy's going that way. Can you show us the lady in the orange shirt? Do you see her? She's wearing an orange shirt.
That's just a sigh.
I heard no.
Who's
I'm
jealous?
sorry about what happened. We are here to learn your story.
See, I heard no in that as well.
Somebody else want to ask any questions? You want to ask a question? No? Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Now, come on.
Yeah, same thing I heard.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
It's either now come on or oh, come on.
right.
I can't make out anything in that.
Grandma, if there's anything you would like to say, we would love to hear something from you.
Grandma's apparently one of the ghosts that likes to haunt this place.
Are you just checking out everyone in the room? Yes. Yes. Are you
Yeah.
a board?
Yes. Just hear a
I think
squeak.
maybe there's somebody else there that's maybe not with the house, but just kind of come along for the ride. Grandma's here. Grandma's here.
Yeah.
Grandma's here.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear that one good.
Are you right here, sweetheart? Over here.
So what'd you get on that one?
I heard right here.
You heard what?
Right here.
So we're gonna play it back, and maybe it's because the scripts wrote on the screen.
No, I'm not reading that. I got my eyes closed.
Okay, okay.
I'm trying to
So-
make it fair. I got my eyes closed. I'm
Yeah.
trying to go with what I can hear.
So
Hey,
I'm-
and while y'all are listening, whatever you think you're hearing, put it in the comments. Tell us what you
Yeah.
think you hear.
absolutely.
If you
So-
can't, if you throw something in the comments, throw your timestamp on there so we can see which one you're talking about. Also,
When I was listening to this, I didn't have the video on. I was just listening on my phone as I was working. And when this one popped up, it said to me it sounded like lie to her, because she said, "Who are you?" or something like, "What are you doing here?" And it said lie to her. So I was like, "What the crap?" And then I pulled my phone out and I was like, "Oh, that's what she heard on it too." So, but I mean, there's like 2 or 3 more minutes of just these crazy EVPs that go on throughout this session.
okay.
But we'll move on. What's your next one, Brent?
All right. I'm going to get into my actual story.
Nice.
I have the Carolina Street Demon House.
Oh,
This house does not exist anymore. Spoiler alert.
why you got to do that to us? It's
I
like
just- that's what I'm
I
doing.
spoiled the door not opening. Now you got to spoil.
So this one you talked about earlier about them having a TV show.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
this
Paranormal
one-
Encounters.
All right. Well, this one did have a TV show background and is Ghost Adventures. Zach
Oh, really?
Baggins.
I've watched some Ghost Adventure stuff.
I can remember the one I'm going to go over. I remember this particular place coming up. It was kind of a big deal when it happened then, because I'm going to jump ahead and then I'm going to come back and go into the story. He bought the house and he did like a 2-year long investigation at this house. And then after he was done, he tore the house down. He did I think, I'm wanting to say it was aired on TV, but he did like a special just on this house. Carolina Street Demon House. Latoya Amons, her mother, and her children rented this house in 2011 to 2012. They all claim to have been regularly possessed by demons while they were there.
Really? Are you saying they were possessed as in they needed a exorcism?
3 exorcisms.
Am I jumping ahead?
No, it don't matter. They apparently there were 3 exorcisms that were
They were
done.
exorcised 3 times.
Correct.
Wow.
From what I've read, I mean, I could have went more in detail. I didn't look up any of Zach Baggins. I went upon the house.
Yeah.
And I just know he's involved with it. I went through none of his, and everything I talk about right here comes from the family that lived there. Nothing to do with what Zach Baggins did when he was there. So if this one does pique your interest, you might want to look into that also, because I'm not going to be talking about anything to do with Zach Baggins.
I know what you're talking about, because Zach Baggins, when I was watching another one, he was talking about how he got possessed and he had to have an exorcism done.
It's probably this one.
I remember now. Yep.
They say that the possessions began almost immediately after they moved in. There was swarms of large black flies that covered the walls and the windows of the porch. With that being said, this was, I think, November or December when they moved in, and these flies were all over the inside and outside of the porch. So it wasn't even time, for those to be out, but yet they were still there.
So you're talking about this place that Zach Baggins had demolished, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he only lived in the house for 2 years, right?
He didn't live in the house.
Okay. He just purchased the house.
And did investigations there.
And then demoed it 2 years later.
Correct.
Okay. So did you know that the priest that exorcised Zach Baggins called that home a portal to demons?
Yeah, one of the priests that was there, he I got to skip down through my notes, but he said,
if it's in your notes, no, don't skip. You're good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
I'm jumping ahead. He also,
no, you're good.
Zach Baggins also said that he never really felt possessed. He just felt like something was drawing the life out of him. I know you're not going into Zach Baggins' life, obviously. But,
no, I'm not going to anything that I have nothing from Zach Baggins.
But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool little tidbits there. Now, and for you that don't know who Zach Baggins is, he is a paranormal investigator, and he is also well known to taunt the evil realm of the spirit world. So he kind of gets what he asked for. Anyway.
So the swarms of black flies cover the windows and the walls of the porch. They tried different things to get rid of the flies. They would immediately come back again. This is kind of when they started knowing, hey, something's not right.
Right.
They kept hearing the sounds of heavy footsteps pacing around inside of empty rooms. They said it sounded like a large male figure. I think they said it sounded kind of like somebody with boots on.
Mm-hmm.
Then they began to see a shadowy male figure out of their peripheral vision here and there. From there, it escalated up to they started just outright seeing a shadowy figure in the open. So we're not in the peripheral vision anymore. It's like we're looking over here at a doorway, and there's a freaking a shadow person.
So we're not trying the entity, whatever it may be.
Yeah, we're not hiding anymore. You can just see the shadow person.
He's pretty much saying, hey, you got my attention. I'm here now. You ain't getting rid of me.
Right. They said that the children that lived in the house got the worst part of it out of anyone. During a sleepover, one of the friends from the daughter, she's 12 years old, she wakes up to see the Amon's girl levitating above her bed while she's asleep.
Oh, possession.
They said that she didn't come back down out of this levitation until all of her family was in the room with her, and the girl that was staying with them, that they were all surrounding her around the bed and praying for her. And then she came back. Her levitation began to cease, and she come back down to the bed.
Mm.
The next morning, daughter that this happened to, She has no memory of any of this happening, but the friend and the family, they were all horrified at seeing this.
I could imagine.
At another point, her youngest son was literally thrown across the room by nobody being there.
So are we talking like poltergeist type activity
Sometimes.
or pure demon type activity?
I mean, they said there's like all kind of stuff that was happening from what they say.
I think poltergeists more so interact with the environment versus individuals, though, don't they? Like toys and things like that.
I want to say yes. I want to say, I mean, I haven't looked up the actual definition of it, but I think poltergeist activity is usually, it's something to do with physical movements, but I don't think normally that has anything to do with, unless you have stuff thrown at you,
Physical harm.
like, yeah, but not nothing as in like we're going to be levitating and stuff like that. I don't think
more
that
just
falls up under the poltergeist.
Yeah, I feel like that's just pure demon, pure evil, pretty much.
It was said that every child that lived in that house became possessed from time to time. So they called a doctor in to look into the family. The doctor said that after he came up with everything that he did was that the family was delusional and that the children were performing for their mother. The police were called in after the doctor came in with their diagnosis, and child services were as well. They all believed the same thing until they said that someone from the office saw one of the children walk backwards up a wall. The police captain, Charles Alston, said he was never a believer in any of this stuff, but he became a believer. He said the things that he saw proved that they were telling the truth, and he knew then that they were telling the truth about what was happening. The police took a photo that shows a shadow figure, and I'm going to put that photo up right now. You can see the shadow figure in the window. I mean, I don't really... I mean, I see the shadow figure there, what they're, talking about right there, but, I mean, am I a believer because of this picture? No, I'm skeptical. So the family eventually asked for an exorcism. In April of 2012, a priest was called in. He stated that not only was there at least 200 demons in that home, but he also thought that this might be a portal to hell itself. He performed 3 exorcisms on the family, and that same year they moved away. They didn't speak about the events that happened for probably a couple of years. Then Zach Baggins, as we spoke about earlier, he purchased the home, and I don't have it in my notes, but I'm wanting to say he purchased it for $39,000. He did his investigations on it for, I'm wanting to say it was about 2 years, and then he had the house demolished on January the 19th, 2016. And that is my story of the Carolina Street Demon House.
Oh, wait, what's that in the window?
That's the police took this picture, and that's the shadow figure they saw in the window when the house was empty.
No kidding. So that's what you were talking about.
Yep.
That's actually crazy. Did they see it with naked eye or just picture?
Don't know. That I do not know.
You know, I talk about how I want to do all this stuff sometimes. But when you open yourself up to that realm, you never know what you're going to experience or come across. I've got one more if you have finished up on that one.
Yeah, I'm done with that one. That's all I got for that one.
Okay. All right, cool. That was actually really good. I like that. It's very interesting. Not because it has one of my favorite TV shows in it, but
I've actually never seen one of their shows.
Really?
Mm-mm.
You should watch their first episode is on one that I covered, Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
It's they did it. It's pretty good. So my next one is called Rhodes Hotel. It's a historic building built in 1893. It was once a railroad layover station, but during the Prohibition, it was a brothel. Today, the hotel is used by the Lost Limbs Foundation, which pretty much helps children who have lost their limbs.
Okay.
You can donate money to them. They let people do investigations there, and anybody, whatever they make their money on, they actually turn around, they donate that to them and support their cause. So that's pretty cool little tidbit there. The hotel's believed to be haunted by several different spirits. Guests reported seeing children running, a woman, and hearing disembodied voices and screams and footsteps. A child's handprint is still on the wall of the hotel's penthouse, by the way.
Really?
So, like, if you go in there, you can see the child's handprint. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this up. This is another. They're in the children's room right now. Well, not here, but what they do is they put a flashlight on the beds of the rooms that have the highest activity.
Okay.
And this is another paranormal investigation, by the way. But you'll see what happens. It's pretty cool. There's one thing in here that I want to talk to you about, see what you think about it, because I have my own thoughts on it, but they think something different. So we'll just play into it. And see.
To go up, or
It was the corner of my eye, it went straight up.
straight up? I saw the orb on the camera coming, like as we were getting ready to leave the room. We were out there in the hallway for a second before we walked down there. I could physically see the orb on the camera.
So he's talking about they're up there in the hallway right now, and he was holding the camera. Guy on the right, he's holding the camera. He saw an orb. As we've talked about in the past, if you're inside a house, it could be ghost or dust particles. It could be whatever. But the amount of orbs they've seen and how they react does not act as a dust particle should. He said that he saw one at some point in this investigation. He said that he saw one that went from room to room and got brighter as it went to the other room.
Right. Not dust.
Hey, hold on.
Not dust.
It's going off and I can see it.
It's in the kids' room. It's going on and off by itself.
Yeah, I see it. It's flashing.
So you can see, if you look on that wall, you can see the flashlight.
Yep.
Yeah, going on and off. Now, this flashlight's a mag light, an old school mag light.
Okay.
You know, old school mag lights don't have like a strobe feature or nothing. It's either on or it's off.
Correct.
Guys, we're having a lot of flashlight activity in the kids' room right now.
Hold on.
See that?
I just heard something creaking over.
Did you see that on the wall?
Down the
I did
hallway.
not.
It's like somebody was walking to the right of me. Hold on.
Watch the wall.
See that?
I just heard something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw it.
Down the hallway. It's not like somebody was walking to the right of me.
So
Guys,
they said that they think it's a ghost because of how stiff the body movement was. It was just right to left. But if you look at the placement of this guy right here, when he goes and he looks at that wall,
See that?
that arm moves in
Yeah.
and he's already in the
And
room.
he's already in. Yeah, it could very well. Because there was a light right behind him on that table.
Right behind him. Correct.
Yeah.
So they're saying that they don't think it was him because he didn't move like that. But if you look at his right hand, his hand's still kind of in a stiff position. So I think that this is easily debunked on this. But the flashlight, I have nothing on the flashlight.
I can see the same thing you're saying. Yeah, flashlight stuff, that's wild. Yeah, see
All right, so at this point, my brother Tanya and Bighorn.
See,
walked
this is
up
what he's
to
talking
the
about
ballroom
with
on
the
second
whole
floor of the
arm
Rhodes
thing.
Hotel. After now, with
So
the
I'm gonna skip
across the
past that
wall,
because we've already
to me,
debunked
I
that.
know my brother does not move voice out because of this hotel. He flew away seeing this.
Hold on. It's not like somebody was walking to the right of us.
Can you turn that flashlight back on for me again? I've been flickering it on and off. There
Oh,
you
that's
go.
bright.
Thank
Oh my
you.
god. You've been playing with the flashlight. Can you turn? Oh, there it
Good
goes.
job.
You didn't have to say anything. It just went on.
is there any way you can dim it for us?
I was about to say the same thing.
But anyways, I stepped foot in this room and I felt like something was here. And it wasn't just the heat, but I felt lightheaded. Like I felt like something drained me real quick.
And the flashlight's still going on and off during this whole conversation. All this
He
is
said
just
the
him
same
talking
thing.
about.
He said the same thing I was going to say. Also, was if that's the case, it's not a manipulated switch. So if that's the case, ask, hey, dim it. Don't just turn it on and off.
Right.
Let's control it.
And that's what it did. So it dimmed it to the point to where that night vision camera couldn't see it. They had to turn the night vision off, and you could see that the light was dim.
Yeah.
And then it started strobing like super duper fast dim. Then it started strobing super duper fast high. They changed the batteries in the flashlight, still doing the same thing. They even put another flashlight on the bed just to prove, hey, it's not just that one flashlight, and another flashlight did the exact same thing.
Nice.
And in those rooms, there's little porcelain dolls set up. And the way they were set up when they first got there, from what they were explaining, we can go back. You can watch the whole video. It's the channel is Ghouly TV on YouTube.
We'll put a link in it.
Yep. It's a 45-minute episode. It's pretty good. It's worth it, in my opinion, if you're into that kind of stuff, which obviously if you're here listening to this, you are. But it's really interesting. It's pretty cool. The dolls, they were facing one way and they had candy at the feet of them. Well, after the whole flashlight situation, when they left that room and came back to it, some of the candy that was by the doll's feet was moved to a whole nother dresser.
Oh, that's interesting.
And the doll heads were turned, like something was playing with them. That's my ones that I have for Indiana.
Sweet.
I thought they were pretty good.
I liked them.
Like them a lot.
I like the sound clips and all that you have for these as well. I might start looking for some of those also.
Yeah, I'm gonna like Brent said, we will put hyperlinks in our description to go to their channel, just so they get credit for their videos, obviously. And you can go in, you can watch the whole episodes. All three of those episodes are really wicked. Especially one of the Hannah House, that lady, she has a ton of EVPs from a lot of different places she goes. And they're like clear EVPs.
Yeah, just like the ones we was listening to.
Right. So, well, Brent,
awesome.
I'm enjoying these. I'm really enjoying these 50 state haunts.
I do too. When these things are over, I don't know what we're going to do for these.
Well,
because I'm going to be so used to doing these. I'm going to be wanting to do another ghost something.
50 state cryptids?
Yeah, could.
Or we could just start going into more in detail on specific ghost stories.
Possibly.
Or cryptids or black pyramids or what have it.
Who knows? But we still got a while before we can get through all these. How many states are we? What'd you say we're in?
We're
7
at 8
now? 8? So
8. Well, we're 7 now, but 8 would be the one coming up in Dakota.
We usually try to put all of our news updates for the channel and all that stuff at the end of these videos. I just don't like boring y'all with all that stuff after we're done the video. If y'all want to carry on, I get it, but the things that we want to ask is, if you're still here, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you hadn't. It helps us. Check out our Patreon.
Share it with a neighbor. Share it with a friend.
Yeah, just go knock on somebody's door. We don't even care who it is. Just go over there. It's a great time. It's a great time to meet somebody new.
Your neighbor's neighbor. Just knock on this. You know what? I found this podcast. They're two goofy dudes. They're not great, but they're good. They're okay. They're just starting off. They would really love some support.
That's right.
I don't care if your neighbor's 95 years old.
If she's 95 years old, I'm sure she's got a story to tell too.
She might have a story to tell. If that's the case, you can hit us up on the Gmail
at StrangeEmbersPodcast@gmail.com.
And as Brent was saying, our Patreon, we're going to be working on that. That link's going to be patreon.com/StrangeEmbersPodcast, or you just go to patreon.com and search Strange Embers Podcast.
And as soon as we have that stuff going on there, it'll it'll pick up. It'll pick up
Oh,
a
absolutely.
lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing on there. And we're just trying to get some things in order before we try to. We don't want to be too quick to just jump in there. I mean, anybody that wants to go in there already, feel free to go in there.
We've got
but we
a free
don't want
tab.
to jump
You
in
can-
and.
You can subscribe for free. That's something that me and Brent really do need to work on, is just posting weekly updates on it, maybe.
Yep.
Um,
Well, all of our videos that we put that go on, everything's on there also. But
Yeah.
it's a we're gonna get you some bonus stuff to go in there for
absolutely.
sure.
It'll make it worth your time and money.
Yep.
Still working on merch, still working and waiting on it. So
Hopefully sooner than later.
y'all will hear something back when we hear back from them and see what they have to offer. So with that being said, that was a good episode, Brent. I really enjoyed it. And I will see you in South Dakota.
See you then. Y'all have a good night.